I am going to take you on a guided tour of the leadership project. In the Blackboard, you'll see the leadership project, and it's organized by specific tasks and topic. There is a flow chart right on the top that will guide you through what has to be done. So that's really the high-level view of the project. There's three parts to the project. Part one is developing your background knowledge. That includes reviewing the flow chart, looking at the rubric, and learning about the Leadership Capacity School Survey. Part two is a crowdsourced review of literature. There are multiple parts to it, and you work collaboratively as a class to develop the content for the review of literature. And then finally, part three, there's a set of data that was collected previously on the Leadership Capacity School Survey, and you have to select a research question and analyze this information. You write up the analysis and include tables in proper APA format. I will note that most of the components, this project has been done before in a slightly different format. And so most of the documents you'll be working in will also have the previous group's information. So the project had a different flow in 2022 as it does now in 2025. But sometimes it's good to look at how other people have done the work to see how it goes. If you take a look at the project rubric, it will explain the components of what needs to be done to successfully complete the project and how it will be scored. So use that for guidance. The article reviews, the crowdsource, and then your actual statistical analysis that you need to complete. There's some reference material here to give you some context of what the Leadership Capacity School Survey looks like here, and that's what was collected. And then the theoretical background to support what the survey is about and what leadership capacity in schools looks like according to the theoretical constructs of this author. So when we get into the review of literature and tool summary, there is the LP002, which guidelines what I need you to do. You need to identify two primary sources, list those sources on one Google Doc, do what's called a synopsis for each article, and each article must be unique. So you are not permitted to repeat your classmate's article. So if someone's claimed an article, it's theirs first. Then you write the crowd-sorted review of lit. So the first document is the data references. And this one's pretty straightforward. You put your article title in APA format and say who is going to own it. So each person is required to have at least two articles documented here. Part two are the synopses. And synopses are a great way to organize literature so you can have a quick snapshot of what a specific article is or primary source article is about. And so my rule when doing a synopsis is it never exceeds more than a page. So don't scroll these things over to multiple pages. So what you're going to have here, this is the way you do this part. So there you'll see the samples of a previous class here, how they did it. You can take a look at that. But what I want you to do on yours is come here to these three dots, click duplicate. We'll make a copy of the document, and then you can rename it with your name. I'm going to do it plural synopses. And then I'll probably copy this over twice, and then I'll copy it out and do my article reviews here. So once you have your reference and you've done a synopsis of the article, you have to write a review of the literature. And the review of the literature specifically focuses on the articles you've written in collaboration with your peers. So, the crowdsourced document, you'll see a blank one. Put your name on it, and then select how you'd like your writing to be identified. And there's two ways to do it. You can either have a specific font color, like maybe I'll be red. And so when I write view of lit, it is in red. And this one happens to be in yellow. That's not what I want. So mine will be in red and no outline. And then other authors find where your content goes. It doesn't necessarily all belong in order of person completing it. Sometimes you say, well, wait a minute, this article actually fits really well here. And so you might want to break up your classmates' writing a little bit. Just make sure your writing is in a specific color. So let's say the other student is Susie, and Susie writes in black, but she's going to be highlighted in yellow. So when Susie writes her section, comma, it is in yellow. Now, granted, I don't think we're likely to be going sentence for sentence. Okay, well, it came out looking different, but that's okay. So, so that way we can identify who's writing what and where it belongs. Once you've done your review of literature, you have to ask a research question, and you can do that by looking at the survey results spreadsheet. A previous class collected this data, and so now it's available for you to use as well. And there's all sorts of variables you consider, independent variables you can consider for use for this instrument. So we've got school location, number of students in the school, what level of school, teacher experience, highest degree earned, job, uh, gender ID, race, ethnicity, and then there are the survey questions in here that you can use to conduct the analysis. And we'll talk more about how this analysis gets set up in class as you're working on it. Depending on the statistic you choose to use, you can use the appropriate template that goes with it for the analysis purposes. Hope this provides some guidance to you, and as always, I'm available to assist and support you in the writing of this project.